Yeah, circuit.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
First item up is the consent agenda items. Is there any discussion? If not, I need a motion to accept. Ms. Weslowski, need a second. Mr. Bryant, all in favor, raise your hand. 6-0. Mr. Reeves is not here. Financial reports.
The corporation financial report, the education fund balance as of November 30th, 2022 was $3,999,576.50. A year ago, this balance was $1,873,911.87. The operations fund balance as of November 30th, 2022 was $2,411,015.82. A year ago, this balance was a negative $70,474.31. The investment interest earned year to date as of November 30th was $23,512.51. This is compared to $14,906.74 a year ago. And I would just like to make a note that the operations fund balance is slightly inflated just due to timing of reimbursing ourselves from the bond before we moved it to the rainy day. So we did receive our property tax installment, but also that $1 million that is now moved into rainy day was not at this time.
So it's included in 2.4?
It is, yes.
I know it says on ours 3,999,000, blah, 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 blah. I thought you said 30 million.
Yeah.
Just me?
I
Okay.
apologize, did I?
Yeah, it was in my dreams. I'll grant you that one.
Any discussion? All right, we'll move on to the cafeteria report.
The cafeteria fund balance as of November 30th was $593,804.73. This is compared to $421,765.66 a year ago.
Do you have any time frame on the refrigerators that are being replaced?
No, I know she's looked at them.
She's still looking.
I
Do they not need to be replaced?
know that there is kind of a storage issue, but I
At the
apologize.
elementary, there is a storage issue, yes. So they're looking to relocate it out back, outside, like
Yes,
they
and-
did the high school.
And in the meantime, they're gonna buy a smaller one.
Yep.
That they can put inside and be able to store so they can keep running.
Because it'll be a huge project.
Yes.
I'll have to wait till the kids aren't there.
There's utilities there and such that we have to be concerned with.
Is there any time frame on that?
We'd like to try to do it this summer.
Latchkey report.
The latchkey fund balance as of November 30th was $5,540.63. This is compared to $3,905.43 a year ago.
Okay. Celebrations.
First celebration is, you made it just in the nick of time. Terry, if you would come on up, and I believe you have Sarah Weaver with you tonight.
I apologize. We have over almost 15,000 pounds of fruit sitting in our shop, so.
Step up to the
Okay.
microphone.
All right.
Sorry, this is people who hear you online.
Okay, so we have Sarah Weaver with us tonight. She's a 2020 graduate of Franklin County High School. She's now attending Purdue and majoring in ag ed along with minors in horticulture and crop science. So Sarah had applied for the American FFA degree. That is the highest degree that you can get from the National FFA Association. So in order to get this type of degree, other than filling out the application, she had to have so many hours in her supervised agricultural experience along with community service and hold her Hoosier degree, which she does. So she was awarded that at the National Convention in October. That was on Saturday? I don't remember how many actually received theirs in the nation. But Sarah's only the third in Franklin County history to receive hers. So I'm very honored tonight to honor her with this Certificate of Excellence.
That's pretty good.
So I know I'm biased, but I think that Franklin County, the school board and the school can be really proud that Sarah's out there representing the school with everything that she's done in this FFA program. Because it took them a while to find out exactly how many people that actually received this award because there's been so few people. So,
Senora Tincher, would you please come forward? Here or here, whichever side you like. Okay.
Stand up.
It's my honor this evening to present Senora Tincher as the Educator of the Month. I saw her at the band concert Thursday. I've lost track. I said, "Oh, I need to talk to you." So we were in the middle of silent night. We were actually out in the middle of the hall discussing her winning this month. But this is actually her second time. She has been chosen as Educator of the Month, and her last time was March of 2016. So she has her bachelor's degree from Ball State as well as her master's. She's been teaching for 38 years. So she started, I think, in Lawrenceburg, went to North Decatur, Oldenburg, and then ended up at Franklin County High School, which she's been here for finishing her 22nd year. She was nominated by a student. We asked the student why. Senora is always super kind and understands that some students need to work at a slower pace than others. She's always there if I need to ask questions and understands what I'm trying to say, whether I'm communicating in Spanish or English. In her free time, she does Spanish Club co-sponsor, chairperson for the Department of World Languages. She's a member of the American Association of Teachers of Spanish and Portuguese and the American Council of Teachers of Foreign Language. For those of you familiar with the iStar Award, she is a 6-time winner of the iStar Award, and she loves visiting coffee shops because I see it on Facebook. You're always out doing coffee. Cincinnati Chow Down, that's one of our favorites too. So yeah, I'm a member of that as well. So going to church and spending time with her husband, adult children, and her grandkids. So congratulations. And I'd like to introduce your special guest.
My husband, Jeff Tincher, the one who enables me to do all this. Spend copious numbers of hours every day in that place.
The last, we always ask, what's the best part of teaching? The best part for her is that it drives me to be the very best in the classroom every single day, knowing that I'm privileged to touch the lives of so many students. Because of this, I take my job very seriously and strive to always positively impact students. And I know you do every single day because I hear it and I see it, and I thank you for all your hard work and dedication. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And also as a side note, she just doesn't teach Spanish. She teaches the culture as well, to where they understand what's behind the language, and I'm really impressed with that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's get a picture. Yes. That's okay. Thank you so much.
Helen, you come up. Miss Helen Gilman has been selected as December's Support Staff of the Month. She currently serves as the head secretary and treasurer at the middle school. She has worked for Franklin County Community School Corporation for 19 and a half years. And what's amazing is she was nominated by 10 of her colleagues. So we had 10 nominations for her. So she must have been super this past month. When asked, yeah. When asked why Mrs. Gilman should be considered for this recognition, they responded, "Helen is without a doubt one of the hardest workers in our building. Her work ethic is unparalleled. She comes to work every day, takes care of her job, and takes care of every little extra thing that comes in her direction. Helen maintains her high level of efficiency even when filling multiple roles due to absence of other staff members. She works timelessly to make sure all positions are filled each day and even goes extra mile to make sure lesson plans are ready, available to the guest teachers upon their arrival." Now, I know as a high school principal, we'd always try to get a sub, and they were always taken in the morning by Helen. So I know you must be getting up early and making sure that was. Helen has a great memory and pays close attention to details, whether it's balancing school accounts, organizing student records, or making sure a teacher has a sub. She truly goes above and beyond. She is the heart of Franklin County Middle School. There really couldn't be anyone more deserving of this honor. In addition to her secretarial role, she is active member of St. Michael's Church, where she helps with the festivals and her grandchildren. Outside of school, her and her husband spend a lot of time going to their grandchildren's sporting events. They also adore reading, having family gatherings, shopping, going out to eat, and traveling the world. When asked what the best part of her job is, Helen responded, "I see so many facets of Franklin County Middle School. I get to interact with staff, students, and parents. I get to help when and where I'm needed, whether that is counting lunch money, tracking fundraisers, or paying bills. My role keeps me busy so that the day goes by very quickly. I'm blessed to have a great principal and support staff to work with." Congratulations.
And a great dog in Miley.
And Miley.
Miley is our favorite.
And I'll say, speaking from experience, they didn't even do her justice with what you said.
Well, I had to cut out half right so we read. There's a whole, 10 people.
Thanks, Mr. Bryant.
introduce your special guest?
My husband, Michael, of almost 50 years.
Yeah, oh.
We're having an anniversary in March.
Statements from the public, and we don't have any. Statements from employees, we have none. Superintendent,
Do you want to dismiss our guests?
pardon?
Do you want to dismiss our guests? Our
Oh,
guests?
our guest, you're free to leave if you want to. You don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting unless you absolutely desire to.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas if I don't get to see everybody.
Merry Christmas to you. Okay, superintendent's report? Nothing?
Nope.
Okay, old business?
Nope.
New business?
In your packet is, as Mr. Isaacs and I have, I guess, one of our goals was to take some of those evaluation instruments and make them a little more applicable to the position. So we have been internally trying to do that, and we have two more tonight. We have the business manager first, and that would be Miss Kendra down there at the end. She has seen this, and I think she's okay with it because she didn't have any feedback for me. So we are asking for approval of this instrument so I can begin her evaluation in the next couple of weeks.
Any discussion?
Yeah, as this is a new position, this is gonna be an evolving evaluation, isn't it? I mean, we're going to assume that there's something that we'll miss as we do the progression of it. Or did we pull it from the maintenance director and?
We
And
took
approve
her job description when Sharon came
Oh,
off
okay.
and Kendra came on,
Oh,
and we
okay.
revised
I'm
that.
thinking of the wrong position.
Yeah, we revised that job description,
I
so,
withdraw my question.
okay. Duly noted.
Need a motion to approve?
So
Mr.
moved.
Bryant? Mr. Brombeck? All in favor, raise your hand. 6-0. Director of Food Service Evaluation.
Yes, we've done the same thing with the food service directors evaluation form. We did some research online. We looked at and tied it to her job description as well as some of the food service evaluation that we get from the state and what she has to do with that as well. Making sure that she's covering those tasks and then she's being evaluated on those. So we'd like for have approval for that tonight.
Any discussion?
I think this is really good, that we are going through each and every one of the job descriptions and the, what's expected, on their jobs. I think when we first started this, there was a lot of job descriptions, a lot of rubric that, hadn't been looked at for years. So I think this is, as we are doing with a lot of our policies, I think this too is, an excellent way to stay on top of things. Yes.
I need a
So
second.
moved.
Ms. Wesłowski, all in favor, raise your hand. 6-0. Number 11 is other. Mr. John Palmer.
Yes, I gave you a copy of the enclosure, because it was not in your board packet for over the weekend. Mr. Palmer is here to discuss the residential TIF, and asking, I believe, for a letter of support from the board.
That's correct. I don't need to talk anymore.
You don't, you're done.
Well, actually, I should say a few things. If you remember the last time I was here, I told you I wasn't going to ask anything that night. And since then, we've had a chance to evaluate the project and present it to IEDC for preliminary approval or turn it down. And they said that they like the project as they always have. They just asked us to come back and get 3 supporting pieces of evidence or letters, one of which is from the board here. The other is from the commissioners in the county that they would also approve this, and also something from the town that they would operate the extension of the wastewater system. And the commissioners have already said yes, and the town has already said yes. And so this letter is really an example that we put together, hopefully expressing how you do feel about this. It is an opportunity to get more houses built in the area. And let me point out one thing about what we're asking IEDC for, is we're asking for about $4.5 million, a little bit less than that. That means that there would be no expenditure from the county, no expenditure from the town to extend this wastewater treatment system. It's designed to do two things. One, to allow more houses to be built, and also if there are any issues with people with existing septic systems, if they don't work, they could hook on if they wanted to. So it's really a combination project, but the driving force behind it is to allow more homes to be built up there. And Reservoir Hill, there's a lot of open land, and there's a lot of people over there who actually do want to build things, and this will accelerate that. And every house that's built, hopefully, will bring in somebody that has a family with kids and bring them into your system as well, and they get more money from the state. So it's a situation where, again, it's no cost to the local government. It's a gift, really. And I will say this about it. If this doesn't happen, the money will go someplace else in our region. I will have to say that one of the things that surprised me the most is that the region, the 6 counties, was given $15 million. We have about a third of it. So it's a big deal. And there's a number of people on those boards, Bill happens to be the president of the board, that want the money for themselves. And if this doesn't work here, it will go someplace else in the region and benefit somebody else with the same reason behind it. There's one project where they'd like to improve a water system, to be able to build more houses and to be able to bring more people in. But it won't be in your system. It'll be in Dearborn County. And so there's a lot of reason to say yes to this. And it allows us to actually do something we haven't been able to do for a long time, which is actually try to attract new residents, new families with kids. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes, Beth.
You said reservoir housing project. You're meaning all the way up to State Road 1?
The sewer would go from basically down where the bank is on Route 1 and all the way back at, 101. And then, yes, it would extend all the way up there. There'll be laterals out to where there's pieces of property either to be developed or people that would like a sewer to hook up to their house.
Okay, so you would not only go up Reservoir, you would go back Keeler?
I'm not sure how far back we have a preliminary map to look at, but those details will be worked out. It could go to Keeler, but right now we're looking at more things a little bit closer to Reservoir Hill Road. I don't know if there's a development back on Keeler.
Yeah.
At one time, when this proposal was made, there was somebody out on Keeler Road that wanted to build houses. They've since sold the property and they don't want to do it anymore. So.
Well, there's, okay, that's fine.
What was the cost of the housing? I know last time you said.
We're trying to make it as, well, I shouldn't say we, the developers are trying to build houses that people can afford. And there might be some high-end houses, low-end houses, but the idea is to have some affordable housing as well. They've taken a estimate of about $250,000 per house, and looking at the number of houses, that'll generate about $50 million worth of revenue trading around within the community. So.
Okay, so I guess my question is, if we endorse this project, the money would be there for the sewer for the developers to have it, correct?
Well, it would be to extend the sewer. Developers don't get it, but they get the benefit.
Well, that's what I mean, but the money would be there to develop the sewer.
Yes,
correct?
yes, that's what the money is for.
And then by establishing a TIF, what would happen is that we would be locked in at what the current tax rate that we receive off that land for the schools.
Yes.
The only benefit we would receive would be from increased student enrollment.
That would be the benefit to you at this time.
And if there was a high-end housing, we have no idea how many high-end housing we're talking about here. I mean, there's no plan for X amount of lower income or
Well, the
such
nice
housing.
thing about this extension of the sewer system is this: it will enable a variety of things to be built. Whether that be, what we call affordable housing. Maybe there's an area where people want houses that are more expensive. There's room for just about everything up there. In fact, the system can be expanded to actually handle more than the 200 houses we're estimating.
Would there be a percentage established for the schools to receive some of that increase of tax money?
Say that again.
would there be some way of establishing a fund for the schools to receive part of that TIF money?
Well, the state has already said that TIF districts can give 15%.
15%?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can, but
Can,
doesn't
but
have to.
is it
Is
established?
that correct?
We've started to do that here already. So,
Okay.
and whether.
Because that's my major reservation.
Yeah, the revenue that we have now is so low that what we share with you is in the $7,000 to $8,000 range. That's it. Because in 10 years with the existing TIF, we've collected about 250,000 in 10 years because there has not been a lot of development. This is one case where the development probably happened with much greater speed than the rest of the TIF districts here in the county.
John, you might include too, saying that 30 acres back there north of that one subdivision has already started to build. They have lots.
Yes.
They have a whole strip of condos, hopefully, if that gets approved and so forth. They have another back keeler, and that's why I asked. They sold all that one lot back there. The whole lot was $1 million.
I guess my reservation would be lying in the notion that if you're buying a condo, you're probably not bringing kids into the school district. Just
Well,
based
I
off
think there's
experience.
only a talk, help me out, talk of very few condos. It's
Very few.
mostly,
Yeah.
it's
We haven't
mostly
heard
housing.
we haven't heard people want to build lots of condos.
Right.
And it's a reality in the real estate market is that there are some people that like condos.
Right.
There's some that don't. In fact, I don't see really that being the way most of these developers want to make money.
As long as there's revenue sharing, I have no objection to it.
You said that there was already development happening?
There's some development up there. You go up there and there are houses being built.
So even without this, it's already happening, so why do we need this?
To a small extent. With this, it would accelerate it and allow more houses to be built, more families to move in. That's the whole idea behind the sewer extension.
There's 2 houses right now under construction.
Bill wants to talk.
I can answer that. So there is existing housing taking place because we had considered putting a TIF in place prior to this so we had the ability to capture some of that. But on a septic system, their size of their lot is going to be restricted. So let's just assume they need 1.5 acres. And with this project, they could get by with 3/4 of an acre, or maybe even less. So the number of houses that were projected in one particular parcel, let's just say was 15, 18, now could be 35. So that was part of this process. And I'm not sure about the Keeler Road question, but I do know there's an 80+ acre piece of property that has this line running around it. The projection is the goal is a number of 200 homes. The line will be sized to accommodate close to 1,000.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Without getting into details, that's about it.
Correct. That's correct. I mean, without getting into it, this is sized to accommodate a tremendous amount of area. We don't want to come back and do it over again because we built more with the available acreage. We're sizing it according to the available acreage, and some of it might not be for sale. But
Well, that's not even counting the hill.
yes,
I mean, they've already started back there in the back, so.
yes. And to your question pertaining to sharing revenue, yes, there are mechanisms in place to accommodate that. It's something that we would definitely, the commissioners were in favor of doing that with what already exists in our commercial style TIF districts. In a residential TIF district, I believe that option's still available. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm sure it is. And it would definitely be something that we could consider. I wouldn't say it's a promise, okay, but I would say we'd definitely be interested in having that conversation. We're trying to determine, and I'm just gonna do round numbers. If I build a $250,000 home and it assesses at $150,000, we're capped on residential at 1%. So you're gonna get $1,500 off that house is what we're gonna cap, because we got a cap on that, versus if it was commercial property, it'd be a totally different situation. But we've capped it at that 1%. So, and we've also been told, and again, this is Bill's crystal ball here, okay, but it's been explained to us via economic development projects that usually a house is equal to a half a student is what they try. They look at this, 1 million homes or whatever and come up with that statistic. So the theory was if I built 10 houses, $250,000 homes, they all assessed at $150,000 a piece. We're talking about $1.5 million. We're talking about $15,000 worth of taxes that would be captured at that 1% cap. Those 10 houses have the potential to produce 5 children. If we use that half a child per house, those 5 children are worth $35,000 to the school system versus $15,000 to the school system.
Yeah,
So
but
that's where we would-
the only fault I see with that number is the fact that we don't know that people are gonna move in with children.
Well, wait a minute, can I tell you something?
Sure, you can.
The 2 new houses that are being built right now are Franklin County kids, young kids. They both have a child apiece in each of those houses. I'm sure there will be more children in those houses.
Where do they live now?
Further out in closer to
Okay.
Reservoir Hill. And the one,
But they
other
live
one
in the
lives
county?
clear out in, yeah. clear
So
out.
my point is they're transferring the kids, they're not new
No,
kids
not,
coming
that's,
in.
they're babies. They've never
So
been
am I.
counted.
But you see my point. I mean,
You see
you
my
understand yeah, I do, but I'm saying there's just faulty in the logic that that's going to be the income that we would have based off the fact that they could be people that transfer from within the county in that house. And I'm not against it because we're sharing revenue. I mean, it's a good thing for everyone.
Well, I think it's kind of like monkey see, monkey do.
Wait, you know
When
my
one's-
family?
One builds a house, the other builds a house, and then it just
The
keeps
houses
going.
that they're currently in then
Yes.
become open.
And they're sold. And they're both sold.
We want to be on the same team. We want to be on the
Yes.
same team.
I agree.
We have the same interests and goals that you guys have.
I think if more county entities work together, we'll be more successful.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, any discussion?
So we just had it.
We did just have it, but do we need to have Amber look over?
I already have.
You already have, and she gave
Thumbs
you
up.
okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I need a motion to support this letter. Mr. Bryant, need a second? Ms. Foster, all in favor, raise your hand. 6-0.
Thank you very much.
Got it.
I have another, can I say something more real quick, just
Yes.
pertaining to our original TIF district and the revenue sharing that we have in place, if I can have a minute? Thanks, Rick. We have, I believe the attorney is working with county council, it says, or not council, but the commissioners who have agreed to give you guys 15% of what's already being captured. I've seen emails back and forth amongst them trying to put this all in play, and it is questioned how much are we talking about, and just so you guys know, that we captured roughly $55,000 worth of TIF money in 2022, and it would be my suggestion that when, and I think it's what they're working on, I haven't seen a draft of this yet, that what is captured in 2022 would be spent on your behalf in 2023, and what is captured in 2023 would then be spent in 2024, because we never know what that number is until December. So if we're coming up with this November tax time is paying the second half of their taxes, and then what we're capturing, sometimes that money is not ever created. And it's just so you know that that's what we have in mind. And we also has been a little bit of discussion about what we can use that money and how we would use that money, and it could be used for a project, was what we're thinking. So for instance, we've done this once before, and I think we bought some microscopes and stuff for the ag program over at the middle school. So projects like that could come into play. We've also just touch base on one thing that has recently been surfacing, and that is actually marketing the school system. And we have some people who would like to have that conversation in January or February of next year. And so we have other support besides our 15% that are interested in possibly being part of that and using that as a marketing tool. And my hope is to have that conversation with Tammy at some point in time, and or the College Coalition, who I believe is talking about a February meeting possibly. And I would like to have that conversation with them just to get some input and let them see what they think. But we think, I'm just saying outside the box, what we're seeing in our region, as I'm a part of this 6-county region program, is we can create the housing. we need to have something to sell these people on, and we think we need to market the school system to them. And so we're considering that. Just wanted to put that in your ear before you go buying microscopes. Give me a minute, please, okay?
Jill, I have one question, and I don't know if you can answer it because I really don't know if it's in your area. But your TIF district can be without annexation?
That is correct.
In fact, it will stop annexation. And the reason for it is this, the taxes, the reason for annexation is increased taxes.
Right.
With the TIF district, the town would not benefit if they tried to do the annexation anyway. Once we started collecting the fees and started doing the work there, it would actually stop that for as long as the TIF existed.
Okay, so the other things that you would get under annexation would not be allowed under the TIF?
Such as?
Fire, police,
There
road?
would be no taxes or anything related to that from the county standpoint. This is still county jurisdiction. This is not the town jurisdiction. We're merely building an extension of the sewer system to be able to take all the sewage.
So this is not Brookville residential TIF, this is Franklin County
Correct.
residential TIF.
Correct.
I'd like to ask the question because a lot of people are wondering about
Yeah.
that.
When will you get approval that you have the funds?
If we get your letter in, the other two letters in, get this in what they call the grant management tool by the end of this month, we should have approval by the end of the month, probably in January.
Do what? I'll put this on.
And everything indicates that we'll get approval.
Okay.
We just needed the backing of people from the county.
Thank you all for what you do. And those of you who are going to be stepping aside and new faces coming on board, look forward to it in the next coming year. Good deal.
I think this is, anytime that we can try to increase the ADM for our school district is a good thing to do.
I just have one question for Kendra. How do you feel about this?
How do I feel?
Yeah.
Knowing that the housing sounds more affordable, I mean, I think it's great. I think if we can keep housing affordable for the young families to afford, I think that's great.
And you brought up the number of 3.9999 as Mr. Brombach didn't quite catch that. I think she said it correctly, but it caught my attention only because I was thinking that's your operating expenses, and we're talking about $4.5 million. You're talking about $4 million. This is a pretty big deal as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it is, yeah.
anyway.
It's huge.
Well, it's in my bank, but you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you're more than free to go.
One thing before I leave, we take the letter that you have a copy of, I'll put in who it's going to, and then can Rick sign this after the
Yeah.
fact? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take care of that, I'll get you something next couple of days.
Okay,
All right, thanks.
all right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Okay, there's no legislative updates, future agenda request. No future agenda request. This meeting is adjourned. Our next regular school board meeting will be at 7 p.m. Monday, January the 9th, here at the administration building at 225 East 10th Street. And thanks to all the listeners out there that are listening